Hello everyone and welcome here to West Beach on what's quite a cool, blowy night. A little bit of drizzle blowing around the place, but a cracking game we have lined up for you tonight. We've got the Port Adelaide Magpies taking on the Seacombe Tigers. It's second versus fifth. Two teams that are close in defence, but one team a bit more powerful in offence. I have with me Taylor Cordell. Taylor, stunning season by you so far. What do you see out of tonight's game?
I think it's going to be a very big defensive game. Both teams are pretty sound in the field, but I agree with you that there's one team that's a little bit more of a power-hitting team and has some speed. I think that Seacombe will do well if they continue to be selective with the pitches that they attack and get runners on.
And we've seen, obviously, Port Adelaide being that team that's got more runs on the board this season. Have you had much to do with them or seen them, or what do you know about them?
We've only faced them once so far. The draw's been a little weird. We've played Seacombe 3 times, so I've watched a few of their games on Saturdays when we've had days off, but yeah, they're a very aggressive team and they know which pitches they want, which as a pitcher is hard to pitch to because you know that they're searching for one thing.
So your prediction tonight, having only seen one team once but seen another team a few times, closest on the ladder, what's your thoughts?
I think it'll be pretty close. I mean, they've got Reagan in the circle and she does a good job of mixing speeds and spins, so I think that she'll keep their hitters kind of a bay, but we'll see. I'm excited to watch Port play.
Awesome. Well, joining us tonight in the commentary box is Eric Bowner, and that's where we're heading now. Over to you, Eric.
Yes, I am here too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pete and Taylor. Happy to be here on beautiful Ghana land here in Adelaide, South Australia. It is Premier League softball coming up for you. Just as Pete said, it is a battle between second place Port Adelaide and fifth place Seacombe in a season that has razor-thin margins between the teams. Port Adelaide are coming in good form. They've won by a touchdown in their last two games, 7-0 and 7-0. Haven't allowed a run in, well, I don't know, since early November, and it's December on Sunday. They're looking pretty good. Port Adelaide right now. Seacombe, meanwhile, well, they've eked out a couple wins. Their last win came not long ago against Walkerville. I'm sorry, Taylor Caudill.
It's all right.
But one thing they're not doing is scoring a lot of runs, only hitting 188 as a team right now. They won 2-0. They lost 3-1 in their recent games, but in their last 4 games, they've only scored more than 2 runs once. So run supply has been in short supply for the Seacombe Tigers today, so they'll have to find some kind of rhythm with the bats.
Yeah, absolutely. Tonight's a game that definitely, as we said earlier, is going to be a close game. Both teams have a very good defensive side, but we know Port Adelaide can hit, and they've been doing that and scoring runs well in the last couple of games. So Seacombe have got to be on top of it. They're going to have to hold them as long as they can and try and get some runs on and put the pressure on early.
Quick look at the batting lineup for the Port Adelaide Magpies. Jess Golden, she's batting .609 on the season. She leads things off. Zoe Thompson, Brie Marcelina, and Jess Maslin. A top 4 that's sort of unrivaled in terms of production right now in the Premier League. Charlize Callahan, Kate Geldof, Montana Edwards, Taylor Mead stepping in the 8-hole today, and Jess Neves in her usual spot in the second leadoff spot, batting 9 today. Around the diamond for the Seacombe Tigers, Bianca Pash in left field, Hannah Cameron in center, Georgia Tompkinson in right field, Brie Lint at third base, Sasha Mutzi at shortstop, Jordan Kolbida at second base, a new Canadian in the lineup playing her third game, and Becky Havis is at first base. Neely Peterson, the import, catching and starting the game, opening the game. They have an opener and a closer sort of thing here with the Seacombe Tigers. Regan Diaz, and she has had a dynamite year both with the bat and in the circle. What do you like about Regan Diaz, Taylor Caudill?
She actually does a very good job of spinning the ball and mixing her speeds, and I think it's actually a really good tandem between her and Whitney because they do offer a little bit of different looks. Whitney's definitely more of an up-ball pitcher, and Diaz is definitely speed changing. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how they attack these Magpies today.
24 innings pitched on the season, a 3.97 ERA. She's striking out 10.69 batters per 7 innings, so she's got a good clip. Whitney Shepherd, like you just mentioned, a 1.9 ERA, but I think a lot of that, too, also comes back from that mixed dynamic that you see between the two pitchers. Neely Peterson, the import catcher. She is a very strong defensive catcher, and that's sort of been an area the last few years the Tigers have been lacking, is a catcher that can throw runners out on the base paths. In the past years, teams have sort of had a green card when playing the Tigers, not this year.
They have. Bree's done a little bit of it, obviously up at third base tonight, but I have spoken to her a couple of times this season. She is enjoying not being behind the plate. And we have seen Neely Peterson, her performances so far this season have been phenomenal. She's extremely athletic in behind that plate, and that's what's got her a couple of spots in our state teams as well.
Jess Golden, a third-year import. She's from Virginia. She's already won a best and fairest in this competition. 14 of 23 on the season with a home run. She's providing some pop at the top of the lineup. A difficult proposition. Hey, it's Wednesday night. We're in South Australia in beautiful Ghana land. Let's play some softball. Regan Diaz, ball in hand, and let's play ball. Pitch upstairs for a ball. How on earth do you attack somebody like Jess Golden, who just seems to be an on-base machine?
Yeah, she's definitely somebody that if I was doing film on, I would just put mix. You don't want to throw the same pitch more than 2 times because she'll adjust quickly. And with lefties especially, you don't really want to let them extend their hands because that's usually their sweet spot. So really jamming them and getting them nice and tight and low is where lefties tend to struggle.
Golden is fast as well. Any ball in play is a risk for her to get on base. You have to be a bit cagey with her. And she's going to pop one over towards left field. Bianca Pash having a look, and it just falls into the mitt. That one was a difficult one. That slips by. That is danger zone, but the first out, and it's a good one to have retired.
I couldn't even see that from out here.
No, that was quite impressive. I thought Bianca was going to struggle with that wind to get to it. It was swirling around a fair bit, but she stuck the glove down low, and as we saw on the replay, it just stuck in nicely. So,
yeah, that ball gets by her, and Jess Golden is rounding third about 30 seconds ago. This is Zoe Thompson up to bat. She's batting .208 on the season. Another one of the promising young players, not just in South Australia, but in the country, certainly on the radars of national selectors. She's also got some speed about her. Back-to-back lefties and back-to-back players that can really do some damage on the base pass, and it's one of the reasons that Port Adelaide, when they score runs, they seem to compound runs, big innings, very frequent with this team.
they are, and they've also got the ability, as I said, to get around the bases quickly through stealing, and anything that gets past the catcher, they're just moving, so some good speed with them.
It's definitely a 1-2 punch. Having 2 lefties back-to-back is never fun as a pitcher, so especially 2 very quick batters, because you never know if they're going to drop the bunt, and then if one gets on, you know a bunt's coming.
Well, Diaz going up, then she's going down, trying to mix it around. Diaz from Redding, California, in her 2nd season in South Australia. Played for the Stars last year as well. These California imports, I tell you, they have some...
There's a few of us. What can I say? We love our softball in California.
Zoe Thompson fouls one away. It's a 2-2 count. Port Adelaide coming off a 7-0 win over West Torrens in their last time out. And she's rung up on strikes, so Regan Diaz has 2 quick outs, one of them being by the K.
Love a good strikeout on lefties, especially that looking one. With having an outside pitch to lefties, you've got to make sure that it's either breaking off the plate or breaking into the plate like a backdoor curve. So that was actually a very good pitch by Regan, and I noticed she shook off the pitch before, so she was hunting that pitch too.
Brie Marcelino up to bat. 421 on the season. She's popped a couple home runs as well, including
one off of me.
Yeah. She can run into one.
Yeah, that was a goner.
From Easton, Connecticut. This is her 2nd year in the Premier League competition as well. Goes to the opposite field. Tompkinson having a look, and that one drops in. She's got to search for it. Meanwhile, Marcelina taking a hard round around 2, and Brie Marcelino will stand up on third, showing a bit of opposite power and using those wheels to get to third base.
Very speedy. Those are one of the unfortunate ones that go down the line a little bit, and as an outfielder, it's fully committed or stopping it, because if it does go past you, it turns into a long run for that batter and for the fielder. So a great hit by Brie.
Jess Maslin to the plate, a former Seacombe Tiger, a longtime Seacombe Tiger. However, 4 seasons ago, Seacombe didn't have a team in the Premier League. She takes a pitch on the inside. So she made the move over to Port Adelaide. And Port Adelaide have not missed a grand final since Jess Maslin has made the move over to the Magpies. They hadn't been in a grand final in the pre-Jess Maslin era, and now they haven't missed one with her on this team.
Fair to say she's worth whatever money she wants to give.
This one pops straight up.
Oh,
Bit of confusion in the infield, and it's going to just drop into the glove at the last second. That one was almost a pitcher's nightmare there. What do? You get the pop up and
yeah, that's when you have a mini heart attack on the field, because you're like, oh, that's good, and you're like, oh, not good.
Maslin just missed it. So relatively straightforward inning for Regan Diaz and the Seacombe Tigers. We'll take a look at how they bat, and Diaz we will get to see again. She will lead things off. Jordan Kilbita bats second, Bree Lint third, Becky Havis 4, Neely Peterson 5, Georgia Tompkinson 6, Sasha Mutzi 7, Hannah Cameron 8, and Bianca Pash batting 9. Now, there is only one player with more than 4 hits on that team. It is Regan Diaz. There hasn't been a lot of offensive support. They'll be hoping that their new kind of sneaky import, Jordan Kilbita, can provide a bit of pop at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, I met Jordan with her friend over here on a ice hockey venture, playing for the Adelaide women's team in ice hockey, and got told there's some softball that would happen down here. Came down to check it out. Ended up friends with Becky Havis in some connection. Got brought out to Seacombe, and she has been on fire in a couple of games she's played for them.
Yeah, good Canadian girl from Saskatchewan. I'm sure we'll talk about her when she comes up to bat. In the outfield, Zoe Thompson in left, Jess Maslin at center field, Jess Neves at right field. We'll get back to Maslin in a moment. Charlize Callahan at third, Brie Marcelino at short, Montana Edwards having a ripper season at second, Taylor Mead over at first, Jess Golden is catching, Kate Geldov, the Belgian international, is in the circle tonight. But Jess Maslin at center field, she played there on Saturday. This might complete the bingo card for places I've seen Jess Maslin play now in this competition over the last 9 years. Congratulations to Jess Maslin, but she can kind of play anywhere, can't she?
Well, it's handy to have someone like that in your team, especially in a lineup like Port Adelaide, where some players are coming in and out and that, but they're so strong you can move them around anywhere and they just fall into that spot nicely. So it's handy to have.
They have won their last 4 games and 5 of their last 6 after sort of being hoodwinked by Glenelg a few weeks ago. It's been a productive November for the Magpies. Winners of 15-3, 6-3, 7-0, and 7-0. Diaz leads things off. Geldof deals. She's been their main pitcher this year after, well, last year there was one woman who pitched every inning except like 3 or something like that.
Yeah, good addition to the team for Port Adelaide. They've got that flexibility within them in the middle now, and I think that, obviously the final West Torrens had a good one, but at the end of the day, having that one pitcher the whole year was difficult, and they just needed someone to come in and assist a little, and they've got that this year.
8 hits for Diaz on the season. 6 of them have been for extra bases. She can burn you when she gets on. Grounds one over to third, well trapped by Charlize Callahan, and that's a dangerous bat put out early.
Yeah, that's a very good out to get, especially first out of the game with a tough hitter like Reagan. I mean, she has super good barrel control, and with a pitch like that, you would expect either a chop or a line drive down the left field line. So, yeah, very good execution by Port Adelaide.
Well, you can cue Black Widow by Iggy Azalea. This is Jordan Kilbita up to bat. Pride of Regina, Saskatchewan, or thereabouts. She's come over here to play hockey with the Adelaide Rush in the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League. She scored 4 goals on the weekend on a road trip to Brisbane, leading the Rush to 2 victories. I recommend anybody to jump on the Adelaide Rush Instagram page if you want to see, I don't know if you've ever heard that hockey expression, dirty dangles. She embodies that. 4 unbelievable goals, but one in particular. Turns out she can play softball too.
That's just so cool.
I believe she went up, and a few of the players also from obviously outside of Adelaide hung up in Brisbane and around the Gold Coast and that for a couple of days after to experience it, but she's back fresh, ready to go tonight.
Yeah, they'll be playing at home this weekend, the Adelaide Rush are. So if you're looking for something to do, you can go check out some ice hockey after you're done at the softball on Saturday.
Well, no live stream this Saturday, unfortunately. We've had to make way for some other sports for this weekend, but it'll be back on the following Wednesday. So
it's unfortunate. That's our club day. So we were playing at that 3 o'clock game.
Next week.
I'm sure we'll make one up for you.
So Kilbita fouls one away. Pitch on the inside. Apparently a very superstitious hockey player. One one of those players that just leaves her stick outside the locker room and doesn't let anybody touch it out of complete harm's way. Wants to keep the magic to herself.
So she's here, and it's at the locker room at the moment.
I wonder what she does with her bats. This one pops straight up in the air. This one might find a gap, and it is in and out of the glove of Jess Maslin, and Kilbita's on base for the first time, and she's in scoring position. Put the ball in play on a windy night like this, and some chaos might happen. So some chaos ball from the Tigers here.
That was a great run by Maslin, though, in center field. Right up on her wrist, almost.
That would have been a highlight reel diving catch had she brought that in. How do you even track those in the outfield on a night like this? The light is a little wonky. The wind is...
There's nothing wrong with our lights, Eric.
I mean, outside.
No, you're right. It's tricky out there, and as we were standing out there just before, like, we're in close where we're fairly covered, so out there further, that wind is going to be a lot more blowy as well, and it's quite swirly. It's not in one direction, so, you know, that ball got her up on the wrist. I think she's probably thought it was holding up, and it just sort of stayed up there a little bit longer than she thought.
That pitch in the dirt, and Jordan's got to scamper back to second. Jess Golden has a cannon on her. Quick release from her.
Just on that play also with Jordan, she got to first, never really was thinking about second till she looked up and saw there was no one there. Good trick for young kids playing. If there's no one at that base, get over there because it's a free pass.
And we were taught back home that the second you hit it in the air, you're sprinting to 2, no matter what. Because if they drop it, you've got a chance of getting to second, and if they catch it, oh well, you sprinted hard. So, yeah, even better is just automatically thinking 2 bases on a pop-up.
Bree Lint pops up to Bree Marcelino. There's some good command on the infield. She has been an elite shortstop since joining this competition. 2 down. Becky Havis, second on the team in hits with 4 for 18 on the season. Trying to find some of that magic she had, especially in that first half of last season. And a swing and a miss on a pitch that just breaks down.
Beautiful off-speed pitch right there to get Becky chasing. It was a nice hard pitch that she watched the first time, so throwing an off-speed low pitch is a great pitch to follow that with.
Geldof with a 3.10 ERA on the season in her 29 innings of work, and she gets a strikeout. Brings up 99. And both teams sort of emulate each other in the innings. They get a runner in scoring position, but only 1 runner on base. Mostly straightforward. And we've got zeros through 1. And yeah, it's a bit of a weird night, a windy night. Maybe you're getting the 4 seasons in the last 2 days, but...
Yeah, the Giants down here on the weekend, they had 3 days of play in about 5 different seasons. I think they created one of their own. It was that changing over that 3 days. But you're right, it's... if the wind dies off, it becomes much easier to play here tonight because it's not freezing cold, but with that wind hanging around, anything that goes in the air, you're a chance.
Especially with Port Adelaide, they've got a bit of a mix and match outfield at the moment. A lot of regular players in the lineup that we've come to expect have been in and out of the lineup all season. Depth certainly being tested when you get to the later stages of November and early December anyways, too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's obviously a time, as we see here on the screen, the Arkaba Hotel, and a big shout out from everyone here at Softball SA. Arkaba Hotel this week on Monday night won at the National Australian Hotel Awards, the best metropolitan hotel in Australia. So very happy to have them. The Sporties Bar is an amazing place. We're probably screaming straight into their Sporties Bar as we speak. So congratulations to everyone at the Arkaba Bar. Get on down there, enjoy their feed, enjoy their services. The hospitality is amazing.
Been to the Ark yet?
I have not. I've got a voucher, though, so I gotta
go there.
Get in there now.
They've got a...
I've only heard good things.
Yeah, the super screen is like an understatement for what that thing is.
Ugh, I love a good sports bar.
Yeah, this is like the sports bar you'd see back at home. Like, yeah, it's like
a Buffalo
but
Wild
even
Wings.
better, yeah. Better than Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm a big Buffalo Wild Wings guy, too. Don't get me wrong.
It's a very true, a lot of American sport on the screens as well.
Oh.
Every sport that you could think of is up there.
Ooh.
Watched a couple Super Bowls there as Charlize Callahan leads things off for Port Adelaide here in the second inning. 4 batters came to the plate in the first. Double stretched to a 3-bagger for Bree Marcelino, the only base runner so far for Port Adelaide, but we are extremely early days. Charlize Callahan 4 for 26 on the season, but you feel like she's not far away from getting hot.
Now, a couple of times last year when she had a little quiet patches for a couple of games, she'd then just come out of nowhere and fire a game off and put a couple around, and so you can never rule her out of a game.
Pretty. Very pretty pitch right there to follow that off speed that was a little too low, a little too outside, to come high and in, tight and in. It makes that pitch look quicker than it is because you would offset her eyes with that off speed. That's a great strikeout right there.
Geldof 4 for 23 on the season. The pitcher. One thing about Seacombe this year for sure is they have been engaged in a lot of close games.
And they've had a knack a couple of times over the last couple of years of being in a game, a run or two down, and just finding that last run to get over the line in the last inning. So you never can ride them out.
They lost 2-0, or they beat Walkerville 2-0, lost to the Hills 3-1, lost to Port Adelaide 6-3 in a game that Port Adelaide just put up a wonky inning early on. Lost to Walkerville 2-1, beat West Torrens 6-5, 3-1 loss, 6-4 win. They've all been 1 or 2 runs on the season. You know that games that Seacombe play are generally separated by those small margins.
The reality is, runs for, rarely do we get it down to the runs for being the deciding factor to split someone on the leaderboard. The runs against is the key, and that's where they've got the defensive game is the must-have. And if you win by a run, you're still getting 2 points for the win.
Pretty.
Geldof called on a strike. She was starting to make her way down. It'll be a full count. But a good at bat from Geldof, taking Diaz with a few pitches here. Diaz shakes one off. There's been a few shake-offs that Diaz has had today. Pitch upstairs, and it's a free base for Kate Geldof and the Port Adelaide Magpies.
Good at bat there. Quality. There was a lot of pitches that were thrown, which is always good in the early innings, is to make a pitcher throw a lot of pitches so you can start to see even more for the batters after.
Montana Edwards is having a heck of a season. We're starting to pass the point where sample sizes are now small, as we are in game number 9 and 10 for some teams on the season. And through 8 games, hitting .412 Montana Edwards, 3rd on her team. And a few extra bases on the year.
And it's a handy team to be up fairly high on the list as well, because they're all capable.
Just misses this one.
Taylor, have you played much against many of the internationals we see out here, other than here in Adelaide? Have you played much against them anywhere else?
I have not. Back in Boise, in the little country town that it is, no, you don't really see a lot of internationals there. I have had a few when I was playing in SoCal. We'd have a few Australians, just because they would pop on over during our summer, your winter. But no, for the most part, it's pretty homegrown back home. I've been finding that a lot of collegiate teams are looking abroad to get their players. So I know Tennessee has an Australian pitcher, obviously with Annie's daughters in Hawaii and OCC. So it's definitely becoming a common thing to look, you know, across the pond, across the sea a little bit. My team had a Canadian. She was the best, Kelsey. So yeah, it's becoming more and more. I think it's a big thing here, but not as much back home, which I love. Like, I think it definitely should become bigger and bigger. Softball's such a great sport. You might as well bring as many people as possible to it.
Good news out of Port Adelaide this week with Zoe Thompson signing on with Munro University.
I saw that.
Making her way over there in our autumn next year. So post-season, she'll slide out, head over to the big leagues.
Yeah, and I get to play with Zoe on the under-23, so I'm very excited to be on a team with her.
It's the voice of Taylor Caudill, the star import pitcher for Walkerville, the star at Boise State University, home of the Broncos in Boise, Idaho.
Oh yeah, bleed blue.
Taylor Mead has a big chance to make a big impact after being inserted in this lineup. And a big spot for Regan Diaz, who has not missed by much, but 2 walks have put 2 runners on base and 1 in scoring position. And 2 quick strikes. Mead then Neves up to bat. Now, that's 2 batters, still room to get 2 outs, but I would wager that Diaz wouldn't want to face someone like a Jess Golden with multiple runners on base and a chance to do some damage. That's what lurks in the distance. That pitch just sails on Regan a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to see the turn of the lineup coming back to the top in this inning. She'd rather let them have empty bases and start from scratch again.
Absolutely, and as a pitcher, that starts to creep in your mind, but you have to focus solely on the batter, because if you focus on the fact that you're getting to the 1 batter again, then it can start to crumble when you're supposed to be trying to get the out. So great job by Regan.
A strikeout works.
Oh yeah, always. I love strikeouts. So yeah, strikeouts work all the time.
3rd strikeout of the afternoon for Regan. Jess Neves, she's hitting 200 on the season. And there is a first pitch strike delivered by Regan Diaz, and that just changes the whole complexion of any at-bat when you're landing those first pitches for strikes.
Oh yeah. Determines the rest of the at-bat. The percentages are on your side when you get a first pitch strike.
Game of small margins, and that's one that you want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, what's the advice to the young up-and-coming pitchers around the country who are listening in and across the world when you get that psychological battle in your head where you go, if I drop this batter and they get on, I'm in trouble?
Yeah, it's something that comes with time. I mean, I would say mastered my mental side of the game until I was probably in my sophomore or junior year of college. So it takes time. It's changing the way that you speak to yourself, though. So I always talk to my girls here that you don't say don't or not, because your brain doesn't hear that. So if you say don't throw a ball, your brain hears throw a ball. So learning how to talk to yourself in a way that's productive and in a way that pushes you to be better, instead of focusing on what you need to do instead of what you can be better at, is huge. And I mean, there's definitely the idea of faking it till you make it, and I firmly believe that, because if you act as if you're the best pitcher in the world, you'll soon start to throw like you're the best pitcher in the world. There's a great book called The Mind Gym. My coach at Boise, Coach Schultz, he made me read it, and it definitely helped the way that I looked at myself and I looked at softball, and I was able to really up my game at that point, because it is mental. You can be the best pitcher in the world, but if your mental side is not the best, then you lose. You lose.
Well, there you go, you've heard it. Anyone up and coming, there's the words.
Neves on a 2-2 count. And Diaz gets her to swing.
Pretty.
No balls put in play in that inning. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, all of them swinging. That was the Regan Diaz inning, for better or for worse, but that is getting out of a jam and keeps this game locked at 0s.
Yeah, second time I've seen Port Adelaide with the runner around on third base with the 2 out, and they've not been able to bring him home. SA Country Championships comes back into play. We've had a little break from it. We're returning to the Country Championships this year. Gives the affiliates a chance to play in the A and B grade. Adelaide clubs can get involved in the B2 division. It's here on the January long weekend. Adelaide players, if they want to be a part of it, can nominate themselves through a draft and get picked up by the affiliate teams to strengthen and bolster them, and also give them a chance to network with some people that they may not normally know or have any idea who they are. It gives them a bit of a networking opportunity. So it's going to be a great weekend. Get yourself involved. All on the Softball SA website is the information.
Now, you've been here for softball, Taylor Cotto, but have you got a chance to explore the countryside of beautiful South Australia?
A little bit. I've gone out to Centrals and I've helped a little bit with pitching, but I haven't done as much exploring as I want to do. I've been doing a lot of clinics and working at primary schools teaching softball, so my weeks have been filled with softball, and then my weekends are filled with softball, which I don't mind. I love it. But no, I definitely need to start making my to-do list an actual accomplishment and marking off all the places that I want to see. But no, I've heard it's beautiful, and I want to see definitely more of the coastal areas too. Like Port Wollonga, York Peninsula, as I've heard, is beautiful. So
York Peninsula would be my recommendation, my go-to, as Neely Peterson comes up to bat. You can leave that in the comments here on the Facebook stream. Where should Taylor go?
please. I have a list in my notes of things that I've been told, and I would love for it to get bigger.
Here we go. You're picking Taylor up at 9 a.m. and taking her somewhere. You've got to bring her home at 9 p.m. What are you doing in that 12 hours with Taylor? Go.
Kangaroo Island, there's one. That sounds like a blast. I saw kangaroos on a hike on my first week here. That was a little scary. There was a buff one. And all of the girls I were with were getting a little nervous, and I was like, well, if the Australians are nervous, what am I going to do? I've never seen a kangaroo before.
Just don't make eye contact, and off you go.
Didn't you get the message? We ride them to work and school
Oh,
all the
I
time,
know.
you know?
Neely Peterson, another one of the imports that is playing in this competition. Each club has 1 to 2, sometimes 3 imports from around the competition. Neely Peterson played on the other side of the country to you.
She did. Florida.
She was as clutch as they come in the ASUN conference this year.
Florida is definitely a muggy place, and it's humid, and you step outside, and even if you just showered, you need to shower again.
What were you telling me before the game? You're yourself and her with the Opens and 23s training. What do you call yourself?
We are specialty players, so I'm a pitcher only, and she's a catcher only. So she doesn't have a fielding glove. So when we're at practice, it's her and I fielding, and for the first time in 4 years since we didn't do it in college. So yeah, it's a great time to broaden my talents and get some fielding back in. We definitely fight over who catches at home from like all the ground balls. So I usually win because at least she's a hits and everything, so she doesn't have the excuse of being, but I just pitch.
Peterson fouls one away. Great command at the plate. 7 walks on the year. She's been on base a bunch. She's shown some power, popped one over the fence in the early goings of the season. Hasn't had a whole lot of base runners on base to really show what she can do to drive them in to this point. And Peterson cranks one to left field. This one back to the track, to the wall, and you can see you later. Neely Peterson, her second long ball of the season, and the Tigers are up first.
Such a powerful swing from Neely, and a very well fought at bat as well. It's a full count. You know, as a pitcher, you're trying to throw a strike, but also not trying to make it so it's hittable. And Neely did a great job of going up to that ball too, because it was a little bit in the upper part of the zone. So great swing.
Well, just before that pitch, KT came looking for another ball because the one that came over behind us had to get put in the chute, and now he's down it because that one's over the fence and gone. That was an absolute powerhouse hit. It sounded so sweet off the bat. We see here on the replay, Zoe Thompson just gave up. The second it was going at her, she knew it was gone.
It was a line drive as well.
So that was actually low in the zone too, so it went right in her bat path. So she really just had to swing, and her barrel dropped right to it.
I don't even think Steve Wallace-Yarrow, the third base umpire, got even a chance to get anywhere near the grass area to call that a home run. It was just gone.
Well, Neely Peterson has quite literally taken command of this game. She fouls a ball away, that disappears, and then she puts one over the fence, and that ball disappears as well. Hard to play softball without a softball.
Oh, yeah.
Imaginary ball. The pitcher says everything's a strike, the batter says everything's a ball.
Everything's a home run, everything's a strikeout.
Georgia Tompkinson with the bases clear, but Seacombe with a 1-0 lead. How big are those 2 strikeouts with 2 runners on from Regan Diaz looking right now? Yeah, Port Adelaide were a base hit away from having a few runs on the board.
Well, yeah, I said at the start of the game that Seacombe were going to have to get on top of Port Adelaide. It's, you know, Port Adelaide aren't a team that generally like to get down. They prefer to be in control and leading the game, and that's why they win games 10-zip and stuff like that, because they just powerhouse away and put the opposition under pressure. But Seacombe, if they could get on board early, being the defensive team they are, they've got the ability to hold them.
Good response right there.
Geldof comes back with her second strikeout. This one looking.
Yeah, as a pitcher, that's really all you can ask for is, yes, home runs happen. I mean, statistically, that's 1 pitch out of every pitch you've thrown that game is a home run. So to respond in the way that she did is very good. And that goes back to that mental side that we were talking about earlier, is that as a pitcher having that toughness to understand, okay, that was a one-off. She did her job, she got a hit. Now I have to do mine.
Sasha Mutzi, 3 for 21 on the season. Mutzi, Cameron, and Pash, the 7, 8, 9 part of this lineup. Once this part of the lineup starts ticking over for the Tigers, that's where that run production will come from. Diaz, a lot of hits. This one jammed a little bit, and it might fall in the soft spot, but diving on to make the play is Zoe Thompson. She charges in, makes the play, and it's claps all around. Take a look at this on the Arkema replay.
Yeah, phenomenal piece of work. She just concentrated, eyes on the ball the whole way into the glove. There's a trick for young players. Just keep the eye on it, stick the glove out. If it sticks in, get control, and then make the dive, and she nailed that.
Called Bree off right away, so she was fully committed to that.
And again, a pop-up. This one over to Bree Marcelino. And she'll fly out to the shortstop, but the home run from Neely Peterson has put the first run on the board for the Tigers. I like that from Zoe Thompson. No celebration, just dive in there, stick the glove out, dive through, get back up.
My type of reaction. I mean, I love emotional players, and I love players that react a lot, but I'm a firm believer in kind of being a bulldog and just, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. Cool, did it, you know, and then move on.
So where's that on the bulldog rating here?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, she got up, tossed it in, and just started walking back, so, yeah, love it.
She's just seen one sail over her head. She's made all that effort in to get that catch. She literally gets up and just flicks it to Bree and says, cool, I'm getting off it again.
Took command as well, like a true bulldog.
Yeah, and they have their outfield playing farther back, so definitely those little high fly balls in the wind become even more difficult because they're having to sprint in because they're playing farther back, and that, you know, the wind is going to play its tricks, so she did a great job on that.
Regan Diaz comes back in the circle. She'll face the top of the lineup again in Jess Golden, Zoe Thompson, and Bree Marcelino, but that is how big those 2 strikeouts were back in the second inning. 2 walks had runners at first and second, then later first and third. But strikeouts to Meade and Neves not only took runs off the board, but also prevented Jess Golden from coming to the plate with runners on base. And Golden, well, she has more hits than times she's been out this season. And she'll crack one to center field, but it's on a line and sticking out. That right hand is Hannah Cameron. It's a night for the outfielders. That ball was laced as well.
That was an absolute perfect hit, and if that's past, she's at third. That's the speed, if not home. She's got super speed, so really important that ball was taken in the outfield. And Hannah Cameron, she made ground, jumped, stuck, and it just went in nicely, so good out.
Zoe Thompson struck out looking her first time up to bat. 1 pitch, 1 out will work for Diaz.
And I think it's important here. Seacombe will be going top of the lineup for Port. We're up by a run. If we can hold them to a 0 score here, we're going to turn around to the top of our lineup. We got the chance to put the pressure back on them. So some of the cracks of the bat tonight have been pretty impressive. Their eye is in.
Diaz to Peterson again, called strike.
There's that outside pitch.
Well, if Peterson is a catcher only and you're a pitcher only, what on earth is this woman's position?
Oh my gosh, she's insane. She's a freak of nature. I mean, there's times when we played Seacombe and I've been pitching and a ball gets hit and I go, if I was Reagan, I could have gotten that. Or if Reagan's up there and she steals one from shortstop or third, and I'm like, wow. I go, sorry guys, don't expect that. So, no, she's a freak. She's so good. It's awesome to watch her practice too on Saturdays with the Stars. Like, she puts her all into everything, even practice, which is something you can't ask enough of.
Yeah, maybe Neely Peterson is a catcher only because Regan Diaz can play all of their 8 positions on the field. Certainly has turned into a leader in this softball club, Regan Diaz.
She's very good with the young kids as well. I've seen her working with the 14s, and I think it's the 18s as well with the state team. She's really absolutely digging in and helping develop some of our young talent, which is great for the international people to come over here and be a part of our competition, but they're definitely giving back, which is great to see.
Pitch on the inside to Brie Marcelino. Doubled in her first at-bat. 2 homers on the season, hitting .421. Now tied for the home run lead on the year with Neely Peterson.
It'd be rare to see Reagan sit out a game. You'd probably see it at the national championships or something like that. But you're talking about what can't she do. I reckon with her height, she'd probably make a good back kid too in the game that she was on the bench.
2-1 count.
Good pitch.
Starting to find that inside part of the plate.
I love the inside. I can't get enough of it. And as a pitcher, you want that called because that sets up everything else. And it definitely can be frustrating when it's not called because as a batter, you always want to extend your hands.
Well, there is a big fly over towards center field. This is to the wall and gone. A home run from Brie Marcelino. Her 3rd of the season. And these teams are trading bombs tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a beautiful swing. And to go from that pitch that was that little bit of that jam strike called to maybe middle in, middle out is just enough for a batter to adjust and to make a hit like that up the middle. I'd love to see where that pitch actually was. I love sitting behind home, but the best seat's usually behind the pitcher because then you can see everything the pitcher does.
And the worst part about hitting a home run is when the plate umpire KT comes up to your bench after and says, "Hey, Bree, can you go get that ball? We need it."
It's Brie Marcelino 1, Neely Peterson 1. Both players going deep tonight. The ball was cranked as well. Deepest part of the park. Marcelino, I think she knew it off the bat.
Oh, yeah, no, she started a little bit of that sprint and then immediately hit that home run trot. So, yeah, beautiful.
Who did know it off the bat was this batter, Jess Maslin. The second it came off the bat, she put her hand up in the air and walked from the circle over to the box just with her hand in the air. You'd say that's a homer.
Well, it took about 4 minutes and 46 seconds for Brie Marcelino to retake the home run lead in the competition.
How many is she at?
3.
3? How many does Maddie Cameron have?
She had 2?
I'll get back to you. I'll have a look.
Check.
I reckon she's got a couple. I reckon she's got 2
I
in the
know
one
she
game.
hit one off of me on Saturday, so there's one.
She might have 3. I thought she got 2 in the one game the other week. But we'll have a look. I'll let you know.
Right at the top, I think.
She had 3.
She has 3. All right, she's in the lead. I stand corrected. The first time I've ever been wrong.
Yeah,
Pete.
so her and Brie are
At
tied
3.
at 3? And Neely's at 3? Or did you
Neely's
say
at 2, yeah.
2, okay.
Could be at 3. She'll bat again this game.
Yeah. Just also like strong athletes, so you can tell that they put work in the gym as well. And as a batter, you need to have that big swing, that good muscle, that good torque rotation behind your swing, and it just adds everything to it.
Yeah, and those balls didn't just squeak over the fence. Maslin on the full count. Another very powerful bat. On the inside, and Maslin aboard with a walk. 3rd walk issued on the day from Diaz. 4 strikeouts. Allowed just the 2 hits. Both of them to Marcelino, both of them for extra bases. One of those hits all of the bases.
Ooh, pretty. I do think now is probably a good time for Reagan and Neely to start mixing in some off speeds, just because you are getting back through the second time through the lineup and it's getting a little bit more hard hits. So Jess had that hard hit to center field. Bree had her hard hit.
Grounded over to short. Mutzi
double.
down on it, throws across the diamond, and that will retire this side.
Good response.
So both pitchers have given up a solo shot, but neither pitcher have allowed much more in terms of hard hit balls. Not a lot of balls put in play so far against Regan Diaz.
It's been a pretty neat, both teams I think have fielded actually quite well. Like there's been some good efforts in the field, diving catches and stuff like that, and attempts for catches to at least hold the ball up. So as we expected, the teams both defensively are pretty strong, and it's going to come down to who can hit the biggest ones the most.
Exactly. And solo shots, yes, home runs suck, but it's one run, right? So gets them out of the way. It doesn't even leave a runner on the base. So it's just basically a reset, right? Never happened. Runs on the board, so what? So, yeah, great response by both teams. I'm excited to see what they do now that they're going through that second and third time through the lineups.
And as we see here on the screen, the other half of the Arca Bar, the Sporty Bar, the home of live sport, as we were talking about before, home of pretty well any sport. I did see a little bit of pickleball on the other day on TV there, so home of whatever sport you want to watch, whenever you want to watch it. It is a phenomenal place to go. We got to watch the first game of the World Cup that Australia played in was there. That was the day or the week we launched our sponsorship with them, and it's fantastic from Softball SA and for the Adelaide competition to have the Arca Bar right behind us, and Sporty's Bar, get yourselves in there. It's fantastic facility, great venue, friendly staff. You will not have a bad day there, that's for sure.
We had a friend of the baseball softball community who was down there a couple Saturdays ago that had the three-headed monster, he called it, on 3 different TVs they set up. They had Team Australia baseball playing in one game, the Adelaide Giants on the road on another, and then the live stream down from the softball on the other TV. It was 3 different Adelaide bat and ball sports all in one go.
I guess you don't have to leave.
Huh?
Don't have to go anywhere.
No, you don't have to go anywhere. You're sorted. Kitchen's pretty good, too. Bianca Pash leads things off. Regan Diaz and Jordan Kilbita will follow.
Yeah, pickleball is the game for retired athletes. All my friends that graduated, they picked up a pickleball racket and learned how to play pickleball, and they're like, this is great. So it's definitely for the people that want to keep being athletic, but doing a little bit different. Or I saw my India played Australia in cricket, watched a little bit of that, no, didn't understand it.
India didn't play Australia. India demolished Australia.
I don't think Australia really understood the game either, but the way things...
We're actually wondering, are you available for the next test? It's in Adelaide.
Wednesday, what are you doing next Wednesday?
I'll tell you what.
I think I've got a game here.
Yeah.
Get yourself down to the Adelaide Oval day-night match. Go and watch the... it is atmosphere galore there.
They tried to explain it to me. I was a little lost.
You don't need to understand it. Team that gets the most runs wins, that's all.
I reckon next Friday is going to day 3 of the test, day-nighter. Obviously, the nighter kind of works here in Adelaide on a Friday. That is going to be an atmosphere that you might want to get around.
Yeah, I mean, I turned on the TV and it was like, India leading by 365 runs. And I was like, is that a lot? And they go, not really. And I went, oh.
You'll notice when that happens at Adelaide Oval, a lot of the crowd's out the back where all the entertainment
Diaz trying to drop down a bunt. It hugs the line. A sneak attack from Regan Diaz.
She did that exact same thing against us on our game against them, and last time I thought it hit her in the fair territory, and this time she got around it, which is, as a batter, you've got to make sure that, you know, you get it down, you get around the ball, and you get to first. So, yeah, great job. Definitely got them off guard.
Does that classify as a bulldog play? That one had a lot of intent behind it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she knows her speed, she knows her ability, and as a hitter and somebody with high softball IQ, you just take a peek at second, where second's at, and then you take a peek to see where first and third are at to see if a bunt would work. And it definitely was the perfect time to do it.
Jordan Kilbita. Straight from the prairies, right to the batter's box. It's just a bit down low and opens up the count at once. Just had her first hit in her first time up to bat. She's having a good week. 4 goals, a hit.
She had a good game last Wednesday night as well, so that was her last game. Obviously, she was away on the weekend, so...
Good 7 days.
When I was talking to her first night, she was down here. She said, if I can play an odd B-grade game here or there, I'll enjoy that. And I don't think she's missed A since she started.
Canada, another good softball nation.
I am Canadian, so I fully support.
Grounded right up the middle. Oh, a laser from Kate Geldof. But Regan Diaz, who has some speed, she's in scoring position.
Yeah, Kate did get there, as you see on the replay. She got the ball, she did look at two, but went not a chance of trying to beat Regan getting there. I'll just clean the second one out.
Bree Lint. And she find a base hit. You'd think a base hit would score a run, but Bree Marcelino
Gorgeous.
slides down and makes the play. She's done it with the bat. She's done it with the field. Have a day, Bree Marcelino.
Yeah, great piece here on the replay. As you see, down and to her right, she made quick ground, one big step, big long leg, just get her straight over there. Clean take, nice throw, well out.
Textbook.
The slide, the backhand, the pop.
The type of fielder you love behind you as a pitcher.
How quick is her release from
Oh yeah, very quick transition.
The other impressive thing there, Mead did not even move her glove. She had her glove out, the ball was thrown, and she did not even move her glove. The Softball SA Masters Championship comes along to South Australia for the very first time across the January long weekend. It'll be played out on Barrett Reserve. We hope to see as many people out there as we can. Masters, well, normally known as an over 35s comp, we're changing it up. We're bringing it in at the age of 30. Over 30, over 40 and over 50 divisions, men's and women's. So you don't have to have a registered player. If they're not registered, they register for the weekend. They get to have a game. So get involved. You don't need to be an affiliated club. You can mix and match your people to make a team. Come from anywhere in Australia to be a part of it. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend, and the Masters is the first time we'll hold it, and we hope to see it go long into the future.
I love watching Neely catch. She has such quick transfers to get that out of second. As a pitcher, you are very appreciative of catchers, and I think they don't get enough recognition sometimes because they're like, oh, the pitcher got the strikeout, but the catcher did a lot of hard work, and they move their butt to back up first, and they get runs out when they're stealing. Love it.
It's odd. I'm normally here a pitcher talk up a pitcher, not a pitcher talk up a catcher.
You can't be a pitcher without a good catcher, so yeah.
She had a lot of praise in her senior year of university. She was one of the top defensive catchers, maybe the top defensive catcher in her conference, in the ASUN conference over at Florida Gulf University. Threw a lot of runners out as well.
Yeah, love that. Changes the momentum of a game when runners get caught stealing, so.
Diaz starting to mix and match a little bit, gets Geldof to swing. Walked her first at bat. Little pitcher's duel on our hands. We're only 48 minutes into the game. It's a 90-minute game, no new innings after 85. We've played 48 of those minutes so far.
They're tracking along well, but most innings have only been sort of 4 or 5 batters. So although there's been the home runs that have cleared it up, it's been pretty quick turnaround.
Geldof, Edwards, and Mead due up. Both those runs have been scored by the big fly. Bree Marcelino with the home run for the Magpies. She tied it up after Neely Peterson, the catcher, went deep for the Tigers. Not much argument from Kate Geldof. That was just well set up from Regan Diaz. That is strikeout number 5 on the day.
Good piece of pitching there. Sally, be happy with that?
Oh yeah, and the pitch before was definitely one of those 50-50 pitches. As a pitcher, you want to be called a strike, but you understand if it's called a ball. So great response there to come back in and get that inside corner.
Montana Edwards. First pitch swing over to short. Good pickup from Mutzi across the diamond, but hustling her way down there is Montana Edwards. Just beats out the throw. Port Adelaide have had a base runner every inning, and that continues.
Good stop by Becky.
It was good work there by Becky. I think it'll get called probably a safe infield hit there because she was going to beat the throw anyway. But Becky coming off the base to make sure she just protected the ball getting past so that there's no advancement of the runner. Well played.
Taylor Mead.
So these are the next two batters are the two that Reagan returned from her 2 walks to her 2 strikeouts. She'd be pretty happy if she could do that again right now and end it off.
Bunted straight up in the air. Neely Peterson, there's one. Had the look down the line for 2. But Montana Edwards had already slipped back to the bay.
Great pop-up time right there. Quick response, fling the helmet off.
That's cool. That would look cool in slow motion. That right there.
And then the immediate check to first, understanding that, you know, it's not just the play that she caught. There's a runner.
Just Neves, first pitch swing to the right side. But whatever adjustment Georgia Tompkinson made in outfield, she didn't have to take a step.
No.
She came in a little bit shallow, obviously, but you're right. If you look at it on the replay, she's 1, 2, 3, standing still and did not move. That'll do. I'll take it there and we'll move on.
So we head to the 4th inning. Eric Ballner, Taylor Caudill, and Kevin Tannenberg giving some, I almost thought KT was in the commentary booth one day. Pete Williams is here. KT will be in the commentary booth one day.
We'll just give, what do you reckon we give him a microphone behind the plate? I saw him give a fist bump to a home run just before, so he's...
That would be cool. I would love a bit of umpire commentary as that goes on.
We had a player commentating, all right. So we see Sparms, obviously another one of the wonderful partners that we have here in the Adelaide softball. Amazing sun protection products that they have available. You can get them down here through the venue. Go see Anthony Weatherstone. He'll point you in the direction. You can purchase them from him, and they will support the Adelaide League. So amazing products. We're in a place where we've seen some different weather recently. We've seen definitely some hot days, so that sun protection will come in absolutely perfect unless you're planning on tanning, and I don't recommend it in Adelaide sun. So get him to the venue, have a chat to Anthony, and he'll sort you out.
We'll be searching for our Sparms player of the game. I reckon, well, there's probably a few short candidates. Both the pitchers, Kate Geldof and also Regan Diaz, would be making a case for themselves. The home run hitters and Brie Marcelino. And now a shot to right field from Becky Havis. This one is caught by center fielder extraordinaire Jess Maslin. There's one down. But you'd think Neely Peterson would be in consideration for the Sparms player of the game, as would Brie Marcelino, but there's Jess Maslin. Reads the game well, Jess Maslin, moving over to center field with a few players out of the lineup.
Have we mentioned to Taylor yet how she's got to pick the player of the game yet? Or I'm getting some funny looks from her.
No pressure, Taylor Caudill.
Delightful. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, between the pitchers, because this is a pitcher's duel so far, and then between the 2 home run girls because they've also played good defense. So, yeah, it's definitely a little too early still, but...
Well, this one popped up to the right side. Just Neves having a look. Opposite field power, not quite enough, but it takes about 4 pitches for Kate Geldof.
Especially now because it looks like the wind's blowing in too, so any balls hit in the air, it's going to get caught. Whereas before, the wind was going out, which is why a lot more balls were hard hit line drives over the fence. So as a pitcher, you prefer what's happening right now.
Georgia Tompkinson is struck out. One at bat and another first pitch swing. This crack to the left side, and it just gets over the head of Zoe Thompson. She made a big play earlier. Meanwhile, Tompkinson had a look at 3. She stays at 2. She'll stay in scoring position. Might have been able to stretch that a little further. Either way, she'll stand up safely with an extra base hit.
Yeah, we saw earlier Zoe Thompson was fielding a bit deeper and had to make that huge run in to get the ball. You mentioned the wind holding the ball up now. She came in a little bit and that one got past her. So a bit unfortunate. It was well hit though, and Georgia's got some good speed, so good at bat.
Got to it really quickly though to hold her up to a double, because usually when balls go to the fence here, it's a triple most times.
That ball slips away.
Now it's like it was a triple.
So a base hit from Sasha Mutzi will score a run. You just have a feeling that a big 2-out hit very well could be the separator in a very tight ball game between these teams so far. This one up the middle. Marcelino has that skip over her glove. And Sasha Mutzi has a crucial 2-out RBI. And the Tigers are back in front.
Yeah, that ball here we see in the replay just took a little hop over the glove at the last minute and probably just caught her unaware. And, you know, that's the sort of ball that if Bree gets that, she's getting the out at first. So a little bit of luck there from Seacombe, but you put bat on ball in play and you got a chance.
Well, if 7, 8, 9 get it done, that's how games are won. And a big hit from the 7-hole hitter in Sasha Mutzi, her 4th hit of the year, maybe her biggest of the season. All of this coming with 2 outs. Georgia Tompkinson with the double advances to 3rd on the wild pitch pass ball. However, it ends up being scored, and Mutzi deposits it up the middle. Something out of seemingly nothing. Seacombe breaking up a nice little run. Now another hit up the middle. Marcelino on the trap. She does it herself. Steps on the bag, but Seacombe have the lead through 4 innings, trying to bust up a 4-game win streak from Port Adelaide. A 2-out rally. Big stuff.
Absolutely, and it's, like you said, the bottom of the lineup is usually where those breaks come and where those big moments come from. So great job by Seacombe to put barrel to ball. You know, it's just getting the basics, 1 base at a time, bat-to-bat hitting, passing it on. So very good response.
They've had the lineup sort of fall their way too. This game has worked. This next inning, you'll see Jess Golden, Zoe Thompson, Brie Marcelino up to bat the top of the lineup. But once again, for the 3rd time through the lineup, they'll start with a clean slate.
Oh, yeah. I want to see what this QR code does.
Oh, so we see the QR code on the screen, the diamond bar. You know, there's a fair bit of work that goes into running it, and the man himself, Anthony Weatherstone, puts a lot of effort into making sure that this facility has a culture and a happy place to be, and the diamond bar is that place. Anybody here on a Wednesday night, Saturday night, unfortunately not tonight because Anthony's seeing his son graduate school, so that's very good. But any Wednesday, Saturday night, that facility is open. There is cool drinks, there is food, the place is a buzz, and that is what supports this live stream. So if you're down here, get in and support it, whether it be a Saturday or a Wednesday, get behind the diamond bar.
Go ahead and follow them at that QR code. I was already following them, so.
No further action required.
Nope.
He was a little disappointed. I mean, I suppose it's a good reason, but yeah, the toasty is my go-to every Saturday.
Well, it's the man who made the toasty that's
graduating. I know. Come on, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just got told it's fortunately his son's graduating.
But unfortunately, I don't have a toasty.
Yeah.
I'll need 2 from Ryan this Saturday from the Diamond Bar. They do a great job there. They have community listings as well there. You can get some local softballers, can run some private lessons for you as well.
Pick up a flyer.
I noticed that flyer when I was ordering my toasty. Jess Golden pitch inside. She's 0 for 2 today. Entered the day 14 for 23 with a 6.09 average and 8 stolen bases. Is that good?
Goes all right. Handy.
Decent.
She is due. 2-2 count. Do you pitch any differently to or more cagey to a batter like Golden, or do you have to just straight up attack her and hope you can best her?
Yeah, you absolutely have to attack her, and like I said before, mixing the pitches, so not throwing into one spot more than 2 or 3 times. I prefer jamming batters because it doesn't allow them to extend their hands. So yeah, with batters that have the record and have the averages that these top people do, making sure they can't extend their hands to guys.
Well, Jess Golden is the tying run, and she is aboard. She's got 8 stolen bases on the year, and she was thinking about going again. Can they double her up?
Oh.
A double play! Regan Diaz, quick to turn on the pop-up, right back to her, and a dangerous threat on the base pass is taken away. How about this for the Arkema replay?
That was awesome. Reagan was right onto it. Jess, she was off, but unfortunately for her, the ball just stuck up in the air. Great piece of fielding by Reagan. Eyes over, an amazing piece of work by Jordan coming across from second to first. You know, that everyone else was disappearing. She had to get over there, and she put herself in a position to make that second out. That's a pretty big play in the scheme of things here.
Neely Peterson was quick on that too. You saw that on the replay, the quick point down the line.
Absolutely. And like I said at the very beginning of the game, you knew if one got on, the next was going to bunt. So as a defense knowing that, and as a pitcher knowing that, you try to get them to pop up. So throwing up pitches, throwing up spin. And that's exactly what happened. And Reagan, as we said, is a freak, so she can field anything. And it was right back to her, and she fired it over. So, yeah, very well executed.
Brie Marcelino, 2 extra base hits, including one with all the bases. And a homer to straightaway center field, which at the time tied the game in the 3rd inning.
Again, a good play by Reagan. She walked the first batter, and then she had the nous to be able to get that double play to get the team back into the game. So, great piece of work.
You can feel the momentum shift back towards Seacombe because it was bleeding towards Port. Leadoff walks always bring that momentum to the hitting team, so just sucked it right back.
Especially at the top of the lineup, because it's no guarantee that Golden bats again this game. Certainly a possibility, but... Ooh. And a huge strikeout of the home run hitter, Brie Marcelino. It's the 6th strikeout of the day. She attacks her in, and it is a colorful 1-2-3 inning, but a 1-2-3 inning nonetheless.
That's a great dig out by Reagan. Should be pretty happy with that. As I said, walked the first, gets the double play, strikes out the end. So don't need anyone else out here. I got this covered, team.
Some nice framing by Neely Peterson as well.
Absolutely.
We spoke about the country championships coming to Adelaide, and we asked a little bit earlier about some places in this wonderful state of ours that you could be taken to. We have Craig Robinson suggesting that maybe heading to Second Valley. Lovely place to go to.
Have you got cliff jumping there?
Yeah. Rebecca Sims says she'll take you, but she'll need more than a day because she wants to take you up to the Flinders Ranges. And I can
not allowed to cliff jump according to my...
No, you can cliff jump. You gotta
cliff jumping post the under 23 women's would be ideal.
What's it called? Second Valley.
Second Valley.
I will say I probably will not cliff jump because I ruptured my eardrum cliff jumping about 3 years ago. So
what are the odds it happens twice?
Yeah, well, knowing my luck, it'll be the other ear this time. I'll be going deaf in the other one. So.
Well, you can get some kayaks or paddle boards down there, and you can go watch
gorgeous.
people cliff jump.
I love paddle
If it helps, I've never known anyone to rupture an ear jump twice.
Neither have I. There you go.
I'm sure there is someone, but I don't know.
I guess I'm just special.
I like that recommendation. Second Valley's a good one.
Yeah. Any other ones so far?
There is a couple. We'll get to them in a sec. We see on screen Liz Engler down there warming up, having a bit of a roll of the arm. Is there a potential change coming in? We know we've talked about how Seacombe has a second option to them. Port Adelaide obviously have a second option to them as well. At what point may that change be pulled? We've got 25 minutes in the game time left, 20 minutes to knowing you innings. We've potentially got this innings, and then maybe do you bring her in after that?
I think it'll definitely depend on what happens in the middle, the bottom of the lineup right now. Because she has done very well. 2 runs, right? One was a solo shot, the other was 2 hits back-to-back. So, she is doing a very good job. It'll just be the matter of if you want to change what Seacombe's seeing.
Well, a few strikeout looking today. Bianca Pash down for the 2nd time. First strikeout against her today. That is strikeout number 3.
I'd also be excited to see Engler pitch because I only saw her pitch the first game that they had against West Torrens, and then I haven't seen her. She didn't pitch against us either. It was, how do you pronounce it?
Geldof, yeah.
Geldof.
Yeah, and she pitched last year, Liz Engler, all but, 3.2 innings, I think it was, every single inning.
And through the finals, 7 innings games, she was digging deep. But
Regan Diaz crushes one to center field. This back to the wall, and Regan Diaz has gone deep. It's a 3-1 game. and Diaz is having a night.
That was a phenomenal hit again, just off the bat. Sounded absolutely perfect. It's not true. Pitchers can hit a ball, apparently, Taylor. You best get that swinging going, but that was an amazing hit. That just came clean off, and Jess knew the second it was off the bat, it was going over again. So well done to Regan again. Gives that little buffer now.
As a pitcher, too, just helping your cause, you know. You can hope, if it's me, I hope that my team does great, and I believe that they can, but when you're a pitcher that hits, you have no excuse. You are in there helping yourself, so great job.
She had 2 decisive triples versus, well, unfortunately you, Taylor Cotto, the other night, but she had 2 big triples in the game versus Walkerville, and now she's got the home run and a huge performance in the circle tonight. Regan Diaz, these last 2 games for Seacombe in particular, well, she has a pretty big game almost every time she plays, but these last 2 games has been sort of another level from Regan Diaz.
Absolutely, and it's just a testament to who she is as a player. I mean, she's constantly fighting in the circle, in the batter's box, at short, at second, in the outfield, wherever they put her. Like, she's putting her all into it, and it shows.
She's now got 10 hits on the season, 2 of them tonight. 7 of them have been extra base hits, and then you also saw today she reached base in the smallest possible way by laying a bunt down the line that just sort of hug and stuck, and then she reached base, and then she goes deep on the next one. Regan Diaz is doing it in a few different ways tonight.
Is that her first home run of this season?
It is.
Right center, pretty good spot.
Nice trap by Callahan, and reaching out is Taylor Mead. There's 2 down. 3 homers in a game today. Haven't seen too many of those in my 8-9 years around the park here.
But again, that wind has just swung the other way again now, and it's blowing out towards the fence. So clean hits are going. She's had a phenomenal season up until the start of tonight. She'd had 18 total bases from her batting, and you know, although that was her first home run, she has had 4 3-base hits. So she's getting the bases, and she's got the speed
tonight with her triple. This is her 5th triple tonight. Oh no, she didn't have a triple tonight. She had 2 the other night. She's got 4 triples, home run, and 2 doubles.
She's got 2 singles, 2 doubles, 4 triples, and a home run.
Just call her the scorecard. He's got everything filled out there. A bunt, single, home run, and she's pitched 5 innings so far with 6 strikeouts. 7 strikeouts. My goodness. She's hard to keep track of, Regan Diaz.
I reckon we, next year with this Adelaide Premier League, I reckon we've got to create a fantasy competition. You pick a team, you pick 9 players from across the competition, you put them in a position and get points. They do it in every other competition. Why have we got it here?
I like it.
Who's your pitcher?
Yeah, who goes first overall in the softball Premier League fantasy in the fantasy draft?
Happens in every other sport. Do they got one in baseball?
They do. Well, baseball is what started fantasy sports in general. They don't have it in Australian baseball, though.
Right.
Ooh. Hit up the middle. Marcelino dove for it. Just out of her reach. That would have been spectacular, and you wouldn't put it past her to make the play. But again, another mini 2-out rally here. Becky Havis going up the middle. And how's this from Seacombe tonight? 7 different players have reached base for a team that was hitting just 188 heading into the season. This is a nice little turn of the corner for the Tigers.
They're a team that, when you look at them collectively, they all have their moments generally. And, you know, for them to have been not hitting much is a bit of a surprise. Generally, someone's doing something. But they're a team that when they all do turn on, they can be hard, and they're showing that right now.
Well, Neely Peterson's gone deep in this game already, and instead of starting an inning with nobody on base, she's got 2 on the tracks right now, and she is a threat. Peterson with an on-base percentage right around that 500 mark. Helping her cause tonight, too. Big moment for Seacombe. Can they pull away, find some insurance marks?
Do you like that?
Long strike is what I call those. Long strikes. It's when you're just happy that it went foul.
The wrong way.
Something like that, I'd either follow up with like an off speed, something that's for sure a ball to really throw off the eyes.
Just missed it again. Jammed a bit. Having a look was a few different players. That one slips away. Count remains 1-2. Havis at first. Breland at second. Port Adelaide trying not to let this game get out of reach. Ball just rises a bit too much. It's a 2-2 count. Two damaging swings, the difference in this one from Seacombe. 2 home runs. One from Peterson, one from Diaz, and the other a 2-out RBI single from Sasha Mutzi. Have accounted for the 3 runs they've scored in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th inning.
Yeah, something that is a little shocking is that none of the pitchers have towels. Considering it was raining a lot today and over the weekend, the grass is wet, that you would think that they'd have a towel in their back pocket to dry off their hand, dry off the ball.
Crack to left field. This is back, and it bounces off the wall. 1 run has come in. The other one will stay at third, but it's an RBI double for Neely Peterson. Her 2nd RBI of the day, her 2nd extra base hit. And she has put on a show tonight.
Laser.
That was another one that just the crack off the bat. I wish you had a microphone on that on the umpire right now. Some of these hits tonight have just been phenomenal. That was really low
Another
as well.
low one. Right into that bat path, though, because she does drop that back knee to it. So it's just pure strength behind that ball. A little lower than her home run ball, so I'm wondering if that was maybe a ball and a half higher, what would have happened to that ball had she hit it.
4 runs on the board for Seacombe, something they haven't done since defeating West Torrens 6-5 back in October.
And that was a comeback win, too, against West Torrens, if I'm remembering correctly.
And Tompkinson's last at bat put one out over the Zoe Thompson's head, so, you know, no walk-up that these 2 runs aren't going to roll around either here.
It was a 3-1 game with 2 outs and nobody on, and then a walk to Lint, a single to Havis, and a double to Neely Peterson has added another run on the board for Seacombe and also eaten away some time. Swing and a miss. Tompkinson is 1 for 2 today. She had the double to left field on her last at-bat. That made it a 2-1 game. At the moment, that is if the game were to shut down this second, she'd have the game winner.
And if I'm reading this correctly, not a lot of strikeouts, too, for Seacombe's batters, which is good because that means that they're seeing the ball decently well and they're making contact. They're making contact and that they're seeing it. And that's the biggest thing you can ask for with hitters is sometimes it's hard when they just don't see the ball. But when your hitters are making contact, that's a very good thing.
Just 3 strikeouts today and only the 1 walk as well. So balls in play has been the story today.
And the catcher speed-up rules put Jordan Corbetta out at second. She's got wheels to burn, so a ball to the outfield here will score the 2 runs certainly.
Port Adelaide came into this game winners of their last 4, including 2 straight 7-0 wins.
KT's hand just triggered a little bit of a movement there, but enough to say no, it was down.
Well, the bases are juiced.
As a pitcher, that's the one. Oh, You want that one.
Sasha Mutzi had the RBI back in the 4th inning. Swings at a pitch here. She can really push this lead out. There's only 10 minutes until no new innings. This is the bottom of the 5th, but Port Adelaide might only have one more chance to pull together some runs. Catcher has to be good here. Nothing behind Jess Golden, or it's going to be a 5th run for Seacombe. Seacombe entering the day 1 point behind Sturt for that 4th final spot. This down the line. It stays fair. That is 1 run in.
Called foul.
That was called foul.
Wow.
They were about to touch the 2nd run on the plate.
Bill Benedictson just coming to ask the question here.
We'll get a look at the Arkaba replay as well. Now, the umpires don't have benefit of this or a slow motion replay. That happens fast down the line.
Now, was there any opportunity for them to finish the play and
No.
then question it?
Once it's called foul, the ball's dead.
Okay. Oh.
I don't know if we have a replay of it.
The only way it could
Here we
work.
go. Was there chalk? It's
Looks
tough
like
to
it's
tell.
Tough off that angle with a bit of the light shining around the places we'd need to look. But KT was very quickly with hands up. The only way it could work is if it's called fair and the play continues to the end. When the ball goes dead, if you challenge it, you can then call it foul. But
Lucky break.
Well, a swing and a miss, and it's a big one. Keeps the game at 4-1. And Port Adelaide, well, I mean, this is the way the rules in the competition work. No new innings after 85 minutes. We have played 77 minutes. So, I mean...
And it looks like Hills and Sturt are done over there, too.
I'm not a big math guy, but, I mean, if Port Adelaide don't score some runs here, you can just, you know, milk some time off of that board if you're a Seacombe, and you can sail away to a crucial 2 points. I don't know if we have a final score on the backfield. What do we got for us?
yeah, we do. We've got Sturt winning 8-3 out the backfield over the Hills. Hills tonight with hits to Abby Bastion and Georgia King. Obviously 2 very handy players in our state teams as well. And also then over the line to Sturt. 2 hits for Sarah Tonkin from 2 at-bats. 2 hits to Belinda White, which were 2 singles. The Sarah Tonkin to doubles. A single to Maddie Cameron and a single to Ollie Durham with the bat. So good batting over there by Sturt tonight, but they've got the Jockeys 8-3 over the Hills.
So brings the live ladder to Walkerville in first with 15 points. Port Adelaide with 12. West Torrens at 10. Sturt at 11 now. So Sturt actually leapfrogs West Torrens. This makes it crucial for Seacombe to try to hold on and win this game just to keep pace with the top 4. A loss here drops them back by multiple points, and a win keeps them right in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. Tied for 4th.
So have them tied for that 4th and final playoff spot. It is a tight competition, tighter than what we've seen, as this is a big swing from Jess Maslin. This back and splits the gap. Rattles up against the wall. Maslin is going. Chugging for 3rd. Jess Maslin slides in, and she is safe. Some drama at the ballpark. We'll get a look at the replay again. It's going to be a triple in the scorebook to Maslin. She took a hard turnaround, too.
There's no hesitation. None.
Here's a look at the play. Oh, she had the tippy toe on it.
I think that was the right call.
This angle will be the one that I reckon might show it better. The other one had a little bit of a blockage. We're asking the question, Bill Benedictson, at the moment of Steve Wallace-Yarrow over at 3rd as we see Jess round towards it.
I think she got
that right toe was a
To me, it looked like she tagged the knee as the toe got in.
Yeah, I think that's what it looks like for me too. It was that right nimble, that little extension at the end.
Little ballerina point.
Little ballerina point there. Yeah, absolutely. So a lead-off triple from Jess Maslin. Port Adelaide likely I'm just going to say definitely need to score 3 or more to get point or points from this game. Here's a good look at the slow motion, fast motion, now really slow motion read. Ooh. Tough to tell.
Fully flat on the ground.
Yeah. I don't know if Jess could have extended more. Good hustle from Jess Maslin.
Awkward play there because obviously the ball coming into the tag's on the other side of the body. And where the umpire's positioned and told to position there, they're on the inside of the diamond. So it's an awkward one to call there. And at the end of the day, to call it out, you've got to be 100%. So
either way, Port Adelaide need another base runner. They're going to need at least 3 in this inning. A couple really close plays. There's Callahan again. Callahan jammed a bit. Peterson having a look. That one runs out of room.
Yeah, 2 calls now that have gone Port's way. The tag and then the fair foul hit. So definitely need to take advantage of the opportunities that they have now.
Callahan has a knack for coming up clutch in big moments. And back to all the grand finals and playoff performances we've seen from her. Top at bat from Callahan. Swings at a pitch upstairs. Strikeout number 8 from Regan Diaz. She's also had the home run. It has been a pretty good game for this woman on screen. Kate Geldof. Can she get on base for someone like Montana Edwards, who's hitting .412 on the year? First pitch swing fouled away. There might be another twist to this game yet, but Diaz certainly making a strong case to be the Sparms player of the game.
Yeah, I think it's between her and Neely. Because Neely had the home run and then the RBI, right, in the last inning, I think she had an RBI?
She did.
Some good defensive plays, and then Reagan's had some very good defensive plays, and the home run that kind of broke the gap a little bit.
And the double play that Reagan turned with Jess Golden standing on first is one of the bigger moments of the game as well. You're absolutely right. Defensive plays from both of them. But a great game caught behind the plate from Neely. This whole connection between Diaz and Peterson is probably the MVP of this game so far.
Yeah, the battery.
Can you award the battery the Sparms player of the game?
Is that allowed? I know they did with me and Chelsea.
Are they so connected that they're just one entity at the moment?
One being.
One. Geldof has taken this count deep, just like Callahan did before her. Port need another base runner to turn this into a one-swing game. Just out of the fingertips of Regan Diaz. Full count. Geldof from Antwerp. And there is that base runner. It's turned into a one-swing game. The tying run comes to the plate in Montana Edwards. She's hitting .412 on the season. She's walked and doubled tonight. This is a huge at-bat.
Oh, it's raining.
Can't see it on the screen, but it is starting to rain here.
We're also
when the towel comes in handy.
Officially hitting 84 minutes, which means that these will be the final 3 outs that Seacombe need to retire. Well, it's 2 outs now, and then this ball game will end. If the Magpies do tie it or take the lead, Seacombe will have a chance to respond because you have to complete the inning.
Love inside pitches. Ugh.
You want it called.
I want it called.
You wouldn't know that it's a pitcher commentating here in Taylor Cotto.
I have a pitcher's strike zone, let's be honest here.
You'd expect nothing less.
We work so hard, you know?
Well, a free base given. That run doesn't necessarily matter as much.
I would have gone to get the runner out at 2. Even if that run scored on 3, it would have been at 2 outs, nobody on.
Yeah, because those 2 runs don't.
Wanting a dry ball.
New ball, yeah. I mean, this is the run that matters right here in Montana Edwards.
Correct.
So you can concede a run. You would trade a run for an out any day of the week in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Especially first and third, sometimes those are difficult plays to read as a defense because you do have to determine, is the priority third, is the priority the first base runner. So I would have probably chosen with Neely's arm, big throw to second, get it in the pickle, make sure you get an out. But, yeah. It's like a sheet of rain coming down.
It's picked up in tenacity, this rain.
Uh-huh.
2 runners in scoring position. Upstairs. 3 balls on Montana Edwards. Taylor Meade is on deck. Called strike. Full count. 1 out.
You can see Reagan's face. Sometimes as a pitcher, when you don't get the one you want called and then you get one called, you're like, oh, okay. You go, wait, what? Ooh.
Up the middle towards center field. Moving on to make the play. Will there be a play at second? No.
Oh.
It'll be a sack. Well, I don't want to call it a fly. It'll be a sack line out from Montana Edwards.
That slight hesitation to throw that ball in made the difference between being done with the game and having another opportunity for Port.
You could hear you yell, get it, get it, get it, because you see how far that runner is off at second. Geldof had to get back in a hurry. Had they just thrown the ball to second on time, it would have been ball game over. Instead, it's still the tying run at the plate, and there's going to be a pinch hitter. It is Liz Engler.
It also could be, this is the second game that the second baseman has played with Seacombe. So maybe just a little bit of disconnect since they haven't played together that much, that she wasn't automatically thinking she'd be there. So part of what happens when you get new people on teams, but good catch.
So Liz Engler will enter the game.
I think that catch was a very, very important catch. It was low. If that had got past, those runs are going. You're getting a run on third.
Potentially tied.
That was a huge effort just to get another one of those low ones tonight in the outfield. So
yeah, Hannah Cameron's had a couple big catches out there. She's had a couple lineouts she's had to snag. You're right. That ball gets by. Tyne runs in scoring position with 1 out on the board. Instead, tying run at the plate with 2 outs and 1 more out to go.
Wind's picking up. Looks a little bit like the rain's slowing down.
2 home runs, the difference right now in this game for Seacombe. 1 from Regan Diaz, 1 from Neely Peterson. 4-2 game so far. Seacombe hasn't trailed in this game either. Port trying to win 5 in a row. If any team can stack runs in an inning, it's Port Adelaide. Put up a 6 spot the other night. Engler. And the count. Upstairs. Well, can we get the tying run on base?
Again, this is where you might have a little bit of strategic planning because you are coming up to the 9 batter, and somebody that is powerful like Engler could potentially score that run, but now we can see if she can attack this 9 batter, or if...
Well, the problem is now if the lineup turns over and you have Jess Golden getting a 4th look of the game on DS.
Yeah, intentional walk. Unintentional intentional walk is what we call it.
An unintentional intentional walk.
Yeah.
Is that just bad pitching?
No. It's where you don't want to make it obvious that you weren't throwing.
Well, the problem is if Neves has a hit here and scores both the runs, things become very dicey. Zoe Thompson sits behind Jess Golden, and then Bree Marcelino follows. But right now it's Jess Neves. She's got the tying run on base. Can't get out. Needs to reach base for this game to continue.
I've been told that this is it. So no matter what, she's last. So we'll see how that goes.
Big moment. Diaz on 8 strikeouts and a home run. This ball in play over to second. It is trapped over at second by Golbida. And the newcomer from Saskatchewan makes the play, and the Seacombe Tigers are going to end a 4-game win streak. They're going to keep pace, and Jess Golbida, like a hockey goalie, she gets down and makes the save.
I'll be back, guys. Got to do my job.
Yeah, Taylor Cotto, I'm going to wait with great suspense of who you choose.
Can I pick more than
Will it be one or will it be an entity? That is the question that I am going to have. I bet you she goes with the entity, Pete Williams.
Oh, she's going to, absolutely. That was a good piece of fielding there, that last play as well. That Golbida, her skates went sideways on her, and she managed to hold her balance enough to get the play, which is good. What a game. We've seen big hitting tonight, some cracking hitting that just came clean off the bat. Was it 3 over the fence in the game? Haven't seen that for a long time. We saw some pitching that was incredibly tight at times. We saw some pretty good defensive plays. So good luck to Taylor for picking this player of the match. There's about half a dozen out there that could potentially get it. Some couple of standout performances, but some good team play from the battery at Seacombe and some good challenge batting from Port Adelaide.
I mean, Pete, for me, the game story is simple. It's almost the Tigers as a collective. They enter the game here having not scored more than 3 runs in any game in November. Offense had been a problem, just hitting 188 as a team. But yes, Peterson and Diaz had 2 long balls, but you even look at huge moments from players like Bree Lint getting on base. How about Georgia Tompkinson having a crucial hit? How about Sasha Mutzi with the go-ahead RBI to break a deadlock? That makes a big difference as well.
Absolutely, yeah. They were some good hitting at the crucial times by people that haven't got the best averages this year. So well played by Seacombe tonight.
Well, we're going to throw it down onto the field to Taylor Cottle. She's chosen 2 players for the SPARM player of the game. They certainly filled up the scorecard. Let's hand it down to Taylor.
All right, I'm here with my MVPs of the game, Reagan and Neely. I chose the battery not only because you did an amazing job in the field, but you had the 2 home runs that started the game and that broke open the game. So how do you guys feel having this good win today?
I thought it was an excellent win. I felt really good. Neely definitely had my back the entire game, which I think helped me stay calm and collected, and I think we worked really, really well together.
Yeah, and what was your game plan for a team hitting that's like Port Adelaide?
Beat them in hitting, just hit better than them. And that's something that we needed to do. We needed to explode with the bats, and as a team, we just came together, and it's always great working with Reagan as a battery, so we came together with that as well.
Absolutely, you guys did a great job. Congrats.
Thanks.
Short and sweet.
Hi, Mom.
Aww.
Big performance, 2 home run hitters, a battery connection that really did navigate the Tigers to a crucial win to keep pace in a tight year. And you might look back at this game towards the end of the season where you figure Port Adelaide are going to navigate their way into the 4, although it is very tight competition. You might look back and say, hey, we just took 2 points off of a team that was rolling at the time, and that might be the difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely. It closes that gap, as we said earlier, that those 3 or 4 teams that were clumped together, that closes that gap with Port Adelaide. Walkerville probably pretty happy that that little gap is held now on top, so Taylor would be very happy with that. And that may have been what some of the cheering was about through the game. But yeah, a crucial game that had a crucial result going up to close to the Christmas break. But, we'll move on to the next game, and everyone's just got to realise it's a long season. There's a lot to play out.
Absolutely. I mean, after Christmas, we've got even more games. So, yes, this can help set us up to have the post-Christmas season that we want and have a good setup, but many, many games still to be played.
That is where we'll wrap things up. On behalf of Pete Williams and Taylor Cotto, thanks for joining us in the commentary booth tonight. We look forward to seeing you back striking out some more people in the in the strikeout queen herself in the booth. And thanks to Brandon and everybody at producer Brandon, that is, at Spacequake Sports. We won't have a softball broadcast on Saturday, but we will be back 1 week, same place, same time. We'll see you then.
Come support.